Wins News Time 3:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
If you're heading across the Kosciuszko on the eastbound BQE, passing the LIE right around 48th Street, we have a disabled vehicle there that's going to slow you down. It's double trouble on the BQE. If you're heading westbound in Queens, 31st Avenue heading towards Roosevelt Avenue, look out for a center lane big old pothole waiting for you as you pass Broadway. Eastbound on the LIE over by the Woodhaven Boulevard vicinity heading towards the Queens Fairgrounds area. You're dealing with some volume. Eastbound over by the Grand Central Parkway, Jewel Avenue to the Q is seeing a lot of volume on the Grand Central. Southbound FDR, or more so northbound FDR, I should say, from 79th Street up to the Triborough, seeing a lot of volume. But the West Side Highway looks good. In local avenues, you'll do better there. Inbound George Washington Bridge, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We're doing better on that upper level in now. Seems to be nice and clear, just about 5 minutes. 20 minutes on the outbound side. Not much at the Lincoln and Holland. We have some road work slowing you down on the Western Spur, New Jersey, southbound, heading down towards the Mixing Bowl, and northbound, passing Raymond Boulevard and Route 9 and heading up towards the Eastern Spur by 15E. There's some heavy volume there. In Brooklyn, slow on the westbound belt as you pass Bay Parkway heading towards the Verrazano. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Lori, as we head through the remainder of this afternoon, we'll continue to have a good deal of sunshine, just some clouds mixed in. It will be mainly clear into this evening, but clouds will increase overnight. A little snow around very late tonight, especially into early tomorrow. They could be mixed with some rain at times. The snow could accumulate a slushy coating to an inch, maybe up to 2 inches in some spots north of west of 287. And there could be some slick spots into the morning commute for tomorrow. Low 24 early tonight. Temperatures will rise toward the freezing mark late. Mostly cloudy and breezy later tomorrow. A high of 42, so it is going to warm up pretty nicely. So essentially anything that falls, any snow that falls tomorrow morning and accumulates is going to melt by the time we get to the end of the day. Turning out partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 32. That melting process continues through the end of the week as our chilliest afternoon from tomorrow on through the rest of the week will be Thursday, a high of 38, as we could pick up some rain or wet snow in the afternoon into early Thursday night. Back to some sunshine on Friday, a high near 40. It looks warmer for the weekend, highs well into the 40s, with sunshine Saturday, then more clouds Sunday. Mostly sunny and 29 degrees right now in Midtown. We're going down to 24. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A school principal in Queens is facing criminal charges.
A text message from Bond Eng to the woman after she had sex with a client for 3 hours reads, "He got his money's worth." The feds say Eng, an assistant principal at PS 16, brought the woman to New York from LA while saying she was a porn actress and that the meetups were with fans. The texts between Eng and clients show him giving them rates, including add-ons for different sexual activities. The prosecutor is also concerned about Eng's trips to Colombia, a hotspot for human and sex trafficking. No comment from the DOE on whether Eng will be allowed to keep his job while the case plays out. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
An organized snowball fight in Washington Square Park yesterday that came together on social media wasn't so friendly, according to Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, who was calling some of the behavior criminal after cops were hit with snowballs. Mayor Mamdani asked about that today.
They have been keeping New Yorkers safe, and they have also been at the heart of our efforts of digging New Yorkers' cars out of these kinds of conditions and ensuring that our ambulances, our MTA buses can keep functioning across this city. They and our entire city workforce deserve to be treated with respect. The only person in our city's workforce who deserves to be treated with a snowball is me.
He was asked about whether he thought the people were kids or adults throwing those snowballs.
I don't. From the videos that I've seen, it looks like a snowball fight.
Scott Monroe of the Detectives Endowment Association says he wants prosecution.
As far as Alvin Bragg and Mayor Mandami, you have to respect law enforcement. Obviously, the good commissioner respects law enforcement, okay? So, it's time that we take action. We lock these individuals up for what they're doing.
Commissioner Tisch says an investigation is underway. A 7-year-old in Maine does more than pay it forward. His generosity has grown and grown.
Eli LaMartina saved $11 over the last year or so in a special piggy bank where he saved money for charity. He converted his coins into bills and on a Saturday morning marched into the donation center of the Maine Needs nonprofit in Portland, Maine, and handed it over. Maine Needs wrote about Eli's act of generosity on Instagram, and within hours, grown-ups began to match his donation with donations of their own. The Portland Press-Herald says in less than a week, about 400 people had donated a total of more than $7,000 to Maine Needs.
That's correspondent Christopher Cruz. 29 degrees now. We are going down to 24 tonight. Your city, your news, your station. 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 29 degrees at 3:40. I'm Lori Madden, and here's what's happening. Get ready for more snow. Not a lot, but it's on the way late tonight into tomorrow morning. Live update from AccuWeather's Brian Thompson in just a moment. Amid some grumbling about New York City public schools reopening today, and not just from kids, the school's chancellor says attendance was a little more than 60%. A report coming up from our Marla Diamond. After some cold nights without power, Governor Mikey Sherrill says more than 90% of the outages in New Jersey have been restored. NYU professors could be walking the picket line after authorizing a strike. A couple of music producers are singing a new tune, apologizing to Karol G after initially suing the superstar. 1010 Wins AccuWeather says that snow arrives late tonight, could mix with some rain. We're going to get that live report in just a moment from Brian Thompson. But first, Wins News Time 3:41. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
If you think a dusting of snow is going to hurt me at this point, I'm broken in. I'm damaged goods by now with this blizzard that we just dealt with. And we're dealing with ramifications from the blizzard, like this big old pothole that I'm looking at over on the westbound side of the BQE, heading towards Northern Boulevard and Roosevelt Avenue, right by Broadway in the Woodside area, Jackson Heights vicinity. Center Lane, it's where it's located, right by Broadway. Look out for that. Everybody's stopping short. And yeah, it's huge, like a big crater there. So be careful on that westbound BQE. If you're traveling on the eastbound BQE, heading up towards the LIE, just past the LIE from Brooklyn to Queens across the Kosciuszko, there's delays there because there's a disabled vehicle. And there's heavy westbound delays on the belt passing that area of Coney Island Avenue and heading towards the Verrazano. More BQE delays if you're going to pass the Williamsburg by 32A and heading towards Flushing Avenue. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Just about 10 minutes in at the George Washington Bridge, 20 on the outbound side, 10 minutes round trip of the Lincoln and Holland. The FDR is starting to percolate with slowdowns from the 59th Street Bridge up to the Triborough. Go local avenues or go West Side Highway. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Okay, Andre is broken already by the snow. Many of you are. It's probably not what you want to hear, but yeah, we have more snow on the way. Let's get an update from AccuWeather's Brian Thompson. Brian.
This is going to seem like a drop in the bucket in comparison, though. It's the good news here, as we'll see snow arrive very late tonight. We're talking probably after at least 3 or 4 in the morning, and it will be taking us into the morning commute tomorrow. At the same time, temperatures are going to be rising, so I would not be surprised if the snow tries to mix with some rain at times, especially near the coast. The snow could accumulate a slushy coating to an inch, maybe up to 2 inches in some spots north and west of 287. Most of what falls, though, early tomorrow will have melted by the end of the day. We're expecting a high in the low 40s tomorrow, and highs will be near or above 40 through much of the rest of the week into the weekend. Might even get close to 50 by Saturday, so the snow that is on the ground will be steadily melting throughout the week. Lori?
New York City public schools reopened today, and with it, some grumbling from parents and kids who had to navigate the sloppy piles of snow and, yes, the subway delays.
Mayor Mamdani's reason for reopening schools was the same reason he had for closing them and giving kids a traditional snow day.
New York's public schools were not in a position to facilitate remote instruction. With students coming back from midwinter break, it was not possible to ensure that enough students had the devices they needed to effectively participate in remote learning.
He said 12,000 out of 78,000 teachers called out, but school buses, for the most part, made it on time.
Of the 8,000 routes, about only 15 of them reported delays.
Preliminary attendance numbers show a high rate of absenteeism, around 37%. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And let's talk cleanup. No easy task in Suffolk County today.
As Pete stood in front of his house in North Patchogue with the record-breaking 30 inches of snow around him, he just shook his head. How long do you think it's going to take to melt?
I don't know, maybe June.
June? I know, sometimes that's how I feel too. This man says he loves the snow. I mean, this is almost as tall as us. What was it like to try to get out? I see you're still doing it.
It was fine, except for when I got plowed in by the plows. We're kind of like a T. You can see the remnants of where they were plowing.
Another resident says he's been working from home and doesn't want to deal with the driveway yet. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Governor Mikey Sherrill says the lights and heat back on for most Garden State residents post-storm this afternoon.
We had 365,000 power outages yesterday, more than during any storm in years, overwhelmingly down the shore. Today, 332,000. Over 90% have been restored.
Although the travel ban was lifted yesterday, she's still asking residents to limit unnecessary travel, with the cleanup still underway. Residents in northern Queens who remember some epic storms and not so epic cleanups are giving a thumbs up to snow removal this afternoon.
Terry lives in longtime plow-deprived College Point. He says the plows showed up this time and did a good job.
They send down the what looks like the orange trucks, and they're much smaller, better for these blocks, because these are tough. And I saw at least 3 of them come down.
There are many narrow streets in this northernmost section of Queens. The snow piles are high. Caroline was digging out.
I'm getting my cardio workout, that's for sure.
Hoping the sunshine gives her a helping hand. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And here's another byproduct of the blizzard. For the first time in 153 years, the Boston Globe called off the printing of its daily paper because of the severe wind and snow. The National Weather Service recorded 32 inches of snow in parts of the county where the Globe's printing press is located. It's the first time since its founding in 1872 that management called off printing. The only other disruptions happened in the 50s and 60s due to labor strikes. The Globe said print subscribers will be getting today's paper tomorrow. The Justice Department is suing New Jersey and Governor Mikey Sherrill over her executive order putting restrictions on ICE agents. Sherrill's order bars federal immigration officers from conducting enforcement operations on state property. Her reaction today.
You know, I think what the federal government needs to be focused on right now, instead of attacking states like New Jersey working to keep people safe, is actually training their ICE agents with some modicum of training, like any law enforcement officer in the state of New Jersey would have, so that they can operate better and more safely.
The Justice Department says Sherrill's executive order unlawfully impedes federal immigration enforcement efforts. Another labor strike is on the horizon. This time it could be non-tenured NYU professors. They just voted to authorize a job action.
They don't want to, but they will. The word from Professor Brendan Hogan at NYU.
We're hoping that the signal we send shows how serious we are about getting a fair contract.
That's after some negotiations stalled. Now he says the university's getting over on their professors underpaying contracted ones while
charging students incredibly high tuition to keep the university running.
Now Hogan says AI use, academic freedom, and salaries are some of the top asks here. So this is a teachable moment to students.
To say that when your working conditions are not tolerable, you have the power to come together and say, we need a change.
Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
NYU released a statement saying they will stay at the bargaining table, but will prepare for the possibility of a strike. One of Ford's best-known SUVs being recalled.
Ford's recalling 413,000 2017 through 19 Explorers. The rear suspension toe link can fracture, causing drivers to lose steering control. There have been 2 crashes, both vehicles running into guardrails. No injuries have been reported.
Correspondent Jeff Gilbert. Dealers will replace the faulty part for free. Notification letters are going out to owners next month. And another recall today, this one involving Volvo and its flagship EV. The automaker says more than 40,000 EX30 SUVs have battery packs that are at risk of overheating. The battery packs will be replaced for free, but in the meantime, if you have one of these vehicles, you're being asked to limit charging to 70% to eliminate fire risk. But first, Wins News Time at 3:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Andre Farrow.
I was going to do my Bad Bunny dance in the air studio. Let's go to the BQE if you're traveling westbound, right around that area of Roosevelt Avenue and heading towards the Northern Boulevard vicinity, right by Broadway. There's that underpass by Broadway. As you travel westbound on the BQE, there's a big pothole in the center lane. Everybody's stopping short. I'm looking at the camera. It's not good. If you're not aware, you could actually hit that car that's stopping short. So again, center lane, right by Broadway, westbound BQE in Queens. You'll thank me later if you are in that vicinity. Now, the eastbound side of the BQE is slow. Heading across the Kosciuszko, passing the LIE, there's some volume there with a disabled vehicle. Now, the eastbound LIE in Queens is starting to percolate with delays over by Woodhaven Boulevard. Round trip of the Van Wyck, the repeat offender, no thanks. It's terrible from the Q down to JFK. The northbound Harlem River Drive is seeing some volume heading up towards the Cross Bronx, but the FDR is the trouble spot from the 59th Street Bridge up to the Triborough. No dice. Go with the local avenues or go with the West Side Highway. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. 15 in, 15 out at the George Washington Bridge. There are westbound delays on the Cross Bronx by the Sheridan. Just around 10 minutes round trip of the Lincoln and Holland. We like that. Inbound Gowanus, you're dealing with some volume heading up towards that 60th Street area in Brooklyn. Looks like we have a stall there. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
And Lori, after what's been a pretty sunny day, we'll have a mainly clear sky into the early part of tonight, but clouds will increase as the night goes on, and we will see a little snow arriving what should be very late tonight, probably after 3 or 4 in the morning. And it'll continue into early tomorrow, perhaps mixed with some rain at times. The snow could accumulate a coating to an inch, perhaps up to 2 inches in spots north and west to 287. So we could have some slippery spots into the morning commute tomorrow, low 24 early tonight, then temperatures will rise toward freezing late. Mostly cloudy and breezy later tomorrow, high of 42, so we will get well above freezing. Most of what falls in the morning will have melted by later in the day. Turning out partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 32. Up to 38 Thursday. It is going to be clouding up with some rain, even some wet snow in the afternoon and into early Thursday night. After we get to 38 Thursday, up to 40 on Friday as some sunshine returns. And then not a bad-looking weekend. We'll have a lot of sunshine Saturday before more clouds move in Sunday. High temps running in the mid to upper 40s, so the melting will continue. Right now, 29 degrees and mostly sunny in Midtown, are going down to 24. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
We're sorry. That from 2 producers issuing a public apology to Carol G after suing the singer last year over her hit Gatu Bela, which they initially said copied elements from a track they produced. Rolling Stone says that apology is official. It was filed in federal court as part of a mediated settlement. Under the deal, each side will cover its own. At 29 degrees now, partly sunny here in the city. We're going down to 24. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
A week after a plan to allow driverless robo-taxi rides in the state of New York was axed by the governor, robo-taxi company Waymo is taking its ambitions down south. It will start offering commercial robo-taxi service in Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, with operations starting small, varying between 25 and 60 square miles from city centers. It's in keeping with Waymo's pledge to expand this year to more than 20 U.S. cities. Heading toward healthy gains at the end of Wall Street trading. Just ahead of the bell, the Dow up 376, NASDAQ up 238, S&P rising 53. A Badger day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
WINS, WINS-FM and HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
29 degrees now, mostly cloudy, although the sun has been peeking out this afternoon. The real field temperature is 20. We're going to get an update from AccuWeather in just a moment. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Tanya Mercado is at the editor's desk. Kyle McMorrow at the editor's desk with Tanya. I'm Lori Madden.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. New York.
31 degrees now at 4 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. New York City gets a decent grade for its handling of the blizzard of 2026. That's from the mayor, who says things went well, as to be expected. Meantime, we got more snow on the way tonight. One area where he's getting flack, though, sending kids back to school today. Some say the move was too hasty, while the kids didn't seem to mind. Some of their folks and some teachers thought they needed at least another day. We're also out at the airport, where there have been hundreds of flights canceled in the wake of the snow. More than 24 hours later, there are still quite a bit of delays, too. We found somebody who's weathering it quite well, though. A former assistant school principal in Queens hauled in on sex charges. He was reportedly the head of school safety for an elementary school. And Miley Cyrus wants a judge to finally end a lawsuit over a song she did, which allegedly kind of, sort of, maybe sounds like something Bruno Mars did. It's a copyright fight. I'll let you compare the songs in this half hour. Stand by. AccuWeather says becoming cloudy overnight. A little bit of snow coming through. Drop down to a low of 24. When's news time? 4:01. And from your Mercedes-Benz-of-Edison.com traffic center now. Let's get you where you need to go tonight. Here's Andre Farrell.
Back to the BQE, Larry, in Queens on the westbound side, right by Roosevelt Avenue, and heading towards Broadway, where we have that center lane with the pothole there. Just be careful in that vicinity. Eastbound, BQE heading towards the LIE across the Kosciuszko. You have delays heading up towards that area, and heading past the LIE, there's a disabled vehicle there, which is slowing you down. Westbound BQE busy over by Tillery Street and Flushing Avenue. Always slow there. On the westbound belt, you're busy heading towards the Verrazano, heading past Bay 8th. Now, if you're using the George Washington Bridge, inbound, just about 10 minutes. Outbound is around 15, nothing crazy. The westbound cross Bronx, there's a stall by the Sheridan, which is leaving some of the traffic over there, which is actually helping the span of the George Washington Bridge. Northbound Harlem River Drive is a little slow, heading up to the cross Bronx. I would go with the West Side Highway or even the local avenues. FDR, you do have delays northbound percolating from the 59th Street Bridge up to the 90s. Just about 10 minutes out at the Lincoln and Holland, that's all. And looking pretty good on Long Island. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Not a lot of traffic. Now, if you're using the northbound Sacticos in Suffolk County, that's slow, heading up towards Pioneer Drive and the LIE. Andre Ferro, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
All right, nobody freak out, but AccuWeather says we got more snow coming tonight, mainly while you sleep. But the commute might be interesting once you get up and head for the job. Let's check in with AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson now to find out what to expect at sundown tonight and tomorrow's sunrise. Brian?
Yeah, no concerns at